Hi everyone. This week the chapter you read from Style had to do with what the authors call shape. Though we just talked about concision, what was it, last week? Maybe the week before? Anyway, we just talked about concision, which is making your sentences shorter. This week we're basically talking about how to get away with long sentences, because short sentences all the time can feel monotonous. Take, for example, this meme that basically dishes out some writing advice from the late author Gary Provost. The unknown creator of the visual here uses color to distinguish different lengths of sentences to really drive the point home. Gary says, "This sentence has 5 words. Here are 5 more words. 5-word sentences are fine, but several together become monotonous. Listen to what is happening. The writing is getting boring. The sound of it drones. It's like a stuck record. The ear demands some variety." Now listen. I vary the sentence length and I create music. Music. The writing sings. It has a pleasant rhythm, a lilt, a harmony. I use short sentences and I use sentences of medium length. And sometimes when I am certain the reader is rested, I will engage him with a sentence of considerable length, a sentence that burns with energy and builds with all the impetus of a crescendo, the roll of the drums, the crash of the cymbals, sounds that say, "Listen to this, it is important." So write with a combination of short, medium, and long sentences. Create a sound that pleases the reader's ear. Don't just write words, write music. So this week, Williams and Beesup are here to try to help us learn how to write sentences that are long but not ungainly, and they give us several tips for how to do that. First, where you can, start with your point right away, and then add more information at the end of the sentence, rather than starting with lots of stuff and finally getting to the point at the end. Sometimes, to revise this, all you need to do is kind of flip the sentence around. Sometimes, though, starting with lots of stuff and ending on your main point can really help you drive a point home. There are examples of both of these instances in your book on pages 140 and 141. Williams and Beesup also tell you how to revise really long openings to either make them shorter or to make them easier to deal with for your readers. First, you want to get to the subject quickly, and step 2, you want to get to the verb and object quickly. With step 2, basically, you want to avoid certain kinds of interruptions in the sentence that can be distracting for the reader and make it harder to hold your main point in working memory. Again, several examples in your book can help make this clearer. Now, though Williams and Beesup say it can be okay to have an ending of a sentence that goes on for a while, there's a difference between a sentence that's long but elegant and one that's long but winding and doesn't know where it's going. They give some advice on how to revise that second kind of ending. First, cut where you can. Then, turn subordinate clauses into independent sentences. I actually make this suggestion all the time when giving feedback on writing and there's a really long sentence that is really confusing. Sometimes the best idea is to just start a new sentence. Third, Williams and Beesup recommend changing clauses into modifying phrases. And there are a couple of different kinds of these. Resumptive modifiers, basically called that because you're repeating a word at the beginning of the phrase and thus repeating and resuming your thought. Summative modifiers, a modifier that kind of sums up the substance of the sentence so far. And then free modifiers, which kind of comment on the subject of the closest verb rather than repeating or summarizing the stuff that came before it. Alright, so that's 3 techniques to deal with sprawling sentences so far. You can cut, you can turn clauses into sentences, you can change clauses into modifiers, and then finally, you can use coordination, which is about how lists within sentences coordinate within that sentence. Then, Williams and Beesup sum up the whole chapter by saying the unifying principle behind all these pieces of advice is to go from short to long. If you've got a pair of ideas and one of them is shorter than the other is longer, say the short one first, and then say the longer one at the end of the sentence. Williams and Beesup explained that this principle actually underlies several aspects of easy-to-read style. That's on page 150 if you want a refresher. Alright, that's it for now. Be sure to let me know if you want to revise the exercise, and I'll see you later.